When you think of diplomacy, we usually picture ambassadors, fancy state dinners, and treaties between countries, right? But what if I told you the real diplomatic game often starts long before a nation even has a flag? Today, we're diving into that fascinating world of politics before statehood.
So that brings us to the big question. Can a political movement, a group with no official borders, no capital city, no seat at the UN, actually play the game of diplomacy? It sounds a bit backward, doesn't it? But, as we're about to see, it happens all the time.
All right, so to really get our heads around how this is even possible, we need to lay down a solid foundation. Let's start by defining what we're actually talking about here.
And here's the term for it: liberation movement diplomacy. Basically, it's the idea that a group fighting for independence doesn't just wait around to be handed a country. Nope, they get out there, they start talking to the international community, and they work to build their case, find allies, and lay all the groundwork for the state they hope to create.
Okay, so if you're a movement trying to become a state, how do you do it? What's the strategy? Let's open up the diplomatic playbook and see what the goals and the actions really look like.
You see, this isn't just about making noise. There are some very clear, very strategic goals. First, you've got to gain legitimacy. You have to get other countries to see you as a serious player. That in turn helps you build political recognition, which can unlock actual tangible support, money, weapons, you name it. And maybe most importantly, it's about shaping the narrative, telling your story to the world on your own terms. All of this is really just preparing for that final step, statehood.
So how do they pull this off? Well, these are the moves they make. They don't just protest back home. They're out there in suits and ties. They open up offices in major world capitals. They appoint envoys to go meet with foreign officials. And they fight tooth and nail to get into international conferences. They are, for all intents and purposes, building a kind of shadow foreign ministry.
And this comparison right here is absolutely key to understanding the whole thing. On one side, you've got a state's embassy. It's protected by international law, its diplomats have immunity, the whole deal. But on the other side, you've got a movement's mission. It might look the same, but its entire existence is hanging by a thread. It's totally dependent on the political goodwill of the host country. There's no legal status, no special protections. It is diplomacy on a tightrope.
So with all these challenges, how in the world do these movements get a voice in the big leagues? How do they actually manage to get a seat at the table where all the official states are making the rules?
Well, let's start with the top prize, full membership at the UN. Right now, there are 193 member states. That's it. That is the most exclusive club in the world, and getting in is the ultimate symbol of recognition.
But, and this is a huge but, you don't actually have to be a full member to get your foot in the door and make yourself heard. And that's where something called observer status comes into play. Think of it like a backstage pass to international politics. It's the special privilege that lets a group sit in on the meetings, take part in the debates, and make their case directly. Now, they can't vote, but they get visibility, they get influence, they are literally in the room where it happens.
Now, this all sounds pretty clever, but we have to be realistic. This path is absolutely loaded with obstacles, and the stakes could not be higher. The risks are every bit as real as the potential rewards.
I mean, just look at the hard realities. Without being a state, a movement can't sign a binding treaty. Their representatives don't get diplomatic immunity, which makes them really vulnerable. Their access to important officials can be shut down in a heartbeat. It all boils down to the shifting sands of political support from other countries.
And just let this sink in. Their entire international presence, all those offices, all those envoys, isn't protected by law. It's built on favors, on alliances. If a friendly government gets voted out or just changes its foreign policy, poof, a movement's diplomatic standing can disappear, literally overnight. So, this all brings us to the endgame. After years, sometimes decades of this very delicate diplomatic dance, where does it all lead? What are the possible outcomes?
Well, this is the dream scenario. The movement achieves its goal. It wins. It becomes a government. And that whole network of missions and envoys they worked so hard to build, it doesn't just disappear, it levels up. The missions become official embassies. The envoys become ambassadors. The shadow foreign ministry becomes the real thing.
But then there's the other reality, and frankly, it's a far more common one. Many movements stay, well, movements. They might keep up their diplomatic game for years, for generations even, becoming a permanent part of the international scene, but without ever quite crossing that finish line to become a fully recognized state.
So here's the bottom line. This kind of diplomacy is an absolutely essential tool for any group trying to become a country, but it's not a magic wand. Playing the game doesn't mean you're going to win. It offers no guarantees of success whatsoever.
And I think this quote just says it all. Diplomacy doesn't start with a flag. It's how you earn one. It's the perfect reminder that a flag, an anthem, a seat at the UN, that's the end of the journey. The real work, the long, hard, messy political work of earning it, that starts years before, in the unofficial, high-stakes world of liberation movement diplomacy.